I'd like to spend some time and talk to you about how I approach my bass guitars. I usually have two bass guitar channels, one for low end and one for mid-range and top range. The reason I do this is because I would like to control my low end in a room so that I can not let it get out of hand, and make sure that there's low end when the bass player plays a bit mid or high. This helps me what I call cradle an atmosphere. So you'll find that low end just is inviting for people. It encourages people to worship. It also helps you balance what sounds loud but may not be loud with what actually is loud. If you don't have enough low end in your mix, a quieter mix could sound quite loud if the mid-range is piercing. So what I do is separate it into two channels, which allows me a lot more control. So we're going to approach our bass amp channel at the minute, which will be my mid and my top end, so you can get your articulation in your notes. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to start by EQing it. Then I'm going to move into some compression techniques for it, and hopefully this is helpful. Pretty nice, bit noisy, a little bit of some grunge going on there. Let's get a little bit of gain going on this. It might pop and clip as it loops. Get rid of this low end, right? Because like I said before, I'm not going to be using this for low end. And you can see that. You can see these lower fundamentals and the lower octaves that I'm just not going to be using, okay? What I typically like to do is give myself some, and I say like because this is something that I do, because I want to hear these notes real clear in my mixes. Cool, get that mid-range kind of harmonic information going. And I'll probably compress it a bit, okay? Get some control over what's going on, some little definition in the articulations for the bass player. If my bass player is too clicky, if he's hitting too hard, I will use a faster attack. If he hits nice and soft, I'll use a slower attack to get some thump back there. It all depends on what I'm dealing with. So let's go over to our compressor. Let's get our thresholds ready to go. Let's get our attack ready to go. We'll use about nice and 7 so we can get some aggressive 7-to-1 ratio going. A little bit too long for me. Let's get rid of the hold. Okay. 6 to 8. Bass doesn't have usually a microphone on it, so you can get aggressive with the compressor. Match our gain. Let's see, this should go, when I take this compressor out of line, this should go nice and flat. Just kind of sits there. When I put it back in, it should get fuller. Carry a lot more. It's a good bass player, so let's give him some attack. So that's in. This is out. That's in. Nice and full. Keeps that RMS there. Keeps him present in the mix. Okay, let's go over to our DI line, which is what I use for my low end. So my low end, I'm going to get rid of all my top end. Use a high cut here. Kind of get that nice and low. I'm going to use one of my filters to take some muddiness out. So you can hear this. That's kind of what I'm going to take out there. And we're going to lose some level straight away because we're dealing with a much reduced frequency spectrum here. So I'm going to get some gain back on this. Back to unity. Okay, there we go. So that's just that. Now let's get a compressor going because, like I said before, I want to control this. I don't want this going anywhere, and I want it there when it shouldn't be. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to use a limiting style compressor. Very aggressive ratio. Very fast attack. Get rid of my hold. And I'm going to shorten my release up. So this is just like a brick wall limiter. I'll use the hold here to kind of get rid of the thump. And I'll gain back this low end. It's going to have a little bit of thump in there. This compressor particularly will create any artifacts that you might be hearing, and that's a result of a very fast attack and a very fast release. And what's happening is you're getting the alias caused by the difference in quick changes in level, which is okay. We can deal with that because it's not going to be a feature in the mix. It's just going to sit at the bottom. So add our bass amp back in, mute the low end, bring it back in. Something you should always do when you're doing this style of mixing with the bass is also check your low end, or your phase, I'm sorry. Okay, hear that? That's out of phase. It's in phase. Out of phase. That's in phase. So you can hear two different things happening. You can hear a change in the low end, you can hear a change in the mid-range. What you're looking for is the low end to stay solid. So I'm going to go out of phase. Typically that is what winds up happening. Okay, so let's bring our mix back together and put our bass in it. Okay, so here's our tops and mids on the bass, our amp. Might be a little bit too much. So what I'll do is I'll bring our gain, makeup gain on our compressor. Back a couple dB, put our low end back in. Maybe take a couple dB off that. Cool. And that is how I deal with my bass guitars.